Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to this ongoing discussion about burnout, doctors, nurses, and IT professionals, and anybody who is dealing with information overload, brain fog, overwhelm, stress, depression, and anxiety, any of those things, right? It is the thing of the modern information age. And information age itself is not bad, but the way the information is thrust upon us and the way we kind of get ready to the continuous information exposure and not reviving our mind, that is the problem. So I do a lot of information. I'm an informatician, actually. That means I'm a scientist who deals with information. I have a master's in informatics. I'm a regular medical doctor, internal medicine. Now doing mostly retirement work, like online, more like a CEO of my company, be a pal. But what I see is a lot of information, a lot of doing, and very little time, very little inclination to our taking care of ourselves. Really working with uh, our bodies and minds in such a way that we not only nourish them and exercise them, but also take a break and give them the break to revive themselves. Body can heal itself, mind can heal itself if you allow unwinding and also really understand where the information overload can be a problem and where information use can be very practical and useful for our lives, right? Like, for example, Chat GPT, that has given us to do what we want to do as authors, as speakers, as any number of things that you do, right? Much faster with very little time done on those, but you get accomplished a lot with that, right? So that's a good thing, I think. But if you are with the chat GPT going on doing from morning till evening and in the night also, and then you go to sleep and get up in the morning, immediately pick it up, that is where you are allowing the information stimuli take you along, and then you are losing the control. Okay, so that is what I'm warning about. This constant distractions that people really thrust upon us, like notifications and so much of data coming at us from childhood to all the way. Elderly people are suffering with this constant exposure, too much exposure. So determine what is important for you and use the modern technology to make it easier for you, but then take care of your body and mind. That's where I'm talking about how can we work with the doctors who are burning out, how can we work with people who are really having the problems. Hi, Sanya.
Hi, Dr. Rao. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good, good. It's been a little while.
Yeah. I am just to open the room. I'm glad you're here. Zella, if welcome too. If you want to come up, please raise your hand. I'll bring you up too. We like to talk to people. Okay, she wants to come up. That's good. So I did invite you, Zella. So hope you can make it. Sometimes this app acts up. It doesn't give us. I invited her twice now.
Yeah, sometimes I don't hear it at all. It's like if I've been gone a little bit, I
Yeah,
come back and I can't hear.
yeah. So hopefully she can come. Yeah. So I did invite her. Okay, there you are. Hi, Zeller. Welcome.
Hi there. Greetings.
Greetings. Yeah, I am Dr. Rao Kalasu. I'm an internal medicine doctor, informatician, and also yoga and ancient wisdom practitioner. This is my friend Sonia Sandra. She's also my student too, but she comes and talks with me quite often. So, Zalar, would you tell us something about you?
Well, I have a long history in holistic healing and wellness. For 25 years, I was a massage therapist and a massage therapy teacher, and
Ah,
I've been practicing wellness and healing
hmm,
for myself and for my clients.
yeah,
So I love everything having to do with the full spectrum of holistic
yes,
healing,
yeah.
mind, body, spirit, soul, and I love to connect with other persons who are of the same like mind.
Yeah, you are
And
in,
I live in,
you
pardon?
you are in the right place, Jala.
Yes, yes. I live in Miami, Florida.
Wonderful. I was in Miami a few times. We used to take an annual vacation, but lately children have grown up and they have their own lives, so uh, we don't need to go there that often. Yeah,
Right.
that's very nice. Massage therapy. I was introduced to therapeutic touch. They used to call in 1980s. And then I went and investigated it. Later on, I found more about it. It is about the energy. It's called
Yeah.
yeah, prana in yoga and chi in Chinese. But human touch has something about massage. I used to have a massage chair, and that massage chair, quick relief and all that, but we have given to the patients also for the massage. They liked it. But then I found somebody giving the massage with the hands much more effective. Then I found out what it was and all that. I'm glad, Zeller, you are here. Actually, I'm not against the modern medicine, but I want to people to be away from that kind of illness-based medicine and take care of themselves first, and then, if need be, they can go and take the modern medicine when it is needed. But a lot of people neglect their self-care. That's why we are focusing on this all the time. I can go as deep as they want, but we don't want to really drive them away, right, Sonia? So we have to talk what is appropriate. I'm so glad you are here, Zeller, because I agree with that. Actually, it's a complementary of both the modern medicine complementing ancient wisdom complementing science is something that I'm very fond of. The science that tells us about external things, they can be very much understood and applied, but then it may not be everything because science changes all the time too. Ancient wisdom also like that, but then they have explored into real deeper stuff where they found out the body and the mind have their own way of healing, and you just be out of their way. Lots of times you can make your body and mind heal themselves. So it's a tall claim, but actually the body is born in what is called prakruti, nature. Okay, nature, right? And then that nature, when it is disturbed with our lifestyles, then it's called vikruti. It goes out of order. To bring it back to order again is my thing, and then I use combination of both modern and ancient systems. um, what do you think about this burnout? Do you handle people with the burnout, Jala?
Burnout, is that a physical burnout or mental burnout that you're speaking of? Because I find that sometimes there's a physical burnout where the body is tired of doing the repetitive motion of the work.
Yeah,
And then there is the emotional burnout where the interest has faded and the passion is no longer there for that type of work.
Yeah.
So are you talking about one specific or?
No, I'm talking about burnout of a human being. That includes all physical, mental, psychological, and all that, because I consider human being holistically, right? Not just a body and mind, but I'm more like a consciousness based taking care of our body mind complex. Usually what is happening is people are either body conscious or mind conscious, but not really in their real spiritual being consciousness. So most of the people don't know how to take care of the body because they may be body conscious, fearful of death and all that, right? So that is one factor. So basic things of nutrition, exercise, and sleep, and also calming the mind. These are the four things I focus on. But it's more like a holistic. Human being for me is not just the body or the mind, but it is the being inside. And that being has the body and mind as instruments. That's why it's much easier once you really in your spirit rather than in just a body and mind. But body and minds are our instruments. Anyway, we are comprehensively discussing this burnout for a long time. Sanya, tell me what is going on with you. How you have been?
I've been really good, Dr. Brown.
Yeah.
Doing my practices every morning, I included the routines that, of course, you taught the
Mm,
last year, right?
yeah.
And I do that twice a day now, and
Mm,
so that way it speeds up a little more in terms of the not only practicing on the strength side,
yeah.
but also because it is summer, so I want to tone, a
Yeah.
little bit more. So
One of the things
yeah,
I liked about Sonia was she grew more closer to the nature, and she's taking walks. She's spending time with the sunsets and sunrises, and also she's more in touch with how she's reacting at her workplace. And I've seen progressive empowerment from within in her. From the time I saw her like 1.5 years ago. I always asked her to ask questions, encouraged her, and also don't take it more like an intellectual concept, but more like a
thank you, Dr. Brown.
yeah,
I,
experiential.
I really enjoy the advice when you're giving it, right? Where you kind of navigate. You don't
Yeah,
outright say it to me. Like you had me go discover it myself,
yeah,
and that was the part where in terms of what we talk about wisdom, and it's basically the experience, right?
yeah,
Because you have to go through that experience to realize and understand what we're doing in terms of practice.
yeah,
And I also come to appreciate yoga a little more, but
yeah,
we in not only on the physical form, but also in the other aspects, like what you mentioned in the nature, how we are,
yeah,
in a lot of ways, in all ways, actually interconnected
yeah.
to all, that's in
You're
this
you're right on, Sanya.
cosmos.
Because if you give something like an instruction, people may take it and do it, but they don't follow that. But what we want is eventually experiential knowledge. That comes only when you are shown some light and then you see the path, but you yourself walk on it. Then that experiential knowledge is yours, and that is what the true teacher has to do: lead them to their inner self, which is the main thing anyway. uh, Lead them so that they can find the way by themselves, and that depends on so many factors. But somebody comes to me, I'm having this particular bronchitis. I can easily give them antibiotics and medications and all that. But if somebody comes to me that they're confused and they don't know which way you're going, and then they're not able to control their body and mind, then you get to go a little deeper according to them. But it is a question of first that whoever is proclaiming as teacher, they got to follow that themselves. They have to be the example. They have to show it by living that, and then the person, whoever is interested, can look at it, and then he can also not say, oh, you can do it, I cannot do it. No, you can also do it. Maybe your path is different. It may be quicker, it may be faster, according to that. But eventually, everybody is on that line of being self-realized by themselves, and that is what is needed. Yesterday, I was in a room, Sanya. This room, they were talking youngsters. So they were talking about give us a good book that you have read, and as give us a quote. So I was telling them about Swami Vivekananda's collector works, but there's a big. It's not a book; it's a collector works. But then also told him uh, to as a human being, our job is to turn inward and realize our divinity and manifest that divinity. Okay, that's what I told them yesterday. That is what yoga is really about. Really, not having this gymnastics and all that, but they are okay. They will give you physical health so that you can sit down and explore your inner self better. But then what finally happens is you kind of still the mind, and then that opens your real inner being. And then once you are stationed in the inner being, the meditation, all these things become much, much easier. Actually, you will be in that awareness, which is meditative. That room was very interesting. I also told them it's not in the books. Books may give you some wisdom and insight, but what you reflect on it, how you really make that wisdom your own thing to investigate. You ask questions, and out of that questions, you will realize, okay, this is the truth. This is not the truth. But once you realize the truth, make it happen in your life. That is the way the traditional ancient teaching was. And then they all misunderstood that the guru or teacher is going to give them everything, and then immediately they will get it without doing anything. No, guru may point out something, but you got to observe that and then go towards it on your own. Hi, Jacob. Welcome. I forgot to greet Noor also. She was there. Jacob, if you want to come up, you are more than welcome to come up. I'll invite you. So that room was interesting because all youngsters, they were all quoting different people. And one quote I found very amusing was Wayne Doyle. He quoted like "We are spiritual beings going through human experience. We are not just human beings going through experience so that we will become spiritualized." That was actually from the ancient wisdom in Sanskrit things all there too. Hi, Ross. Welcome. So this is all kind of important to understand. What Sanya said was very true. She asking questions, she thinking about them, she making her own effort. That is the main purpose. I'm very glad, Sanya, that you were catching that and then going on that way. Jacob, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a walk.
Very
So,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice to see you. Yeah, we are talking about how can you do some things to enhance our human self, and then that way it will be ready to realize who it is all. So I have been doing this for some weeks now. So a lot of things were taught. So have any specific question? Also, you can take it up. Sanya, Zeller, Jacob, you have any particular question that you want me to talk about?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe about laziness and task switching.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
Consistency.
Yeah, that's a good topic. We kind of talked about this extensively on the energy for the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur usually they are get going, right, but then they whip themselves. But can you really be very high intensity without the tension? That's what I talked about. One of the things was absence of laziness. That is a actually indicator of how good your immunity, how good your health is. Sani, remember the slide that once I talked about 8 things that will tell you how healthy you are, how immune you are? It's from the ancient slide, like thousands of years ago. They talked about sleeping on positive thoughts, sleeping good, and then getting up in the morning early and not being lazy is itself another indicator. And then go and have a good bowel movement, and then come back and then maintain your weight, measure your weight, and see that it is maintained well, and then take a walk and expose your skin to the sun. And after the walk, you have a ravenous appetite and come back and have a good breakfast. So I put it in this order because so that people can remember as something they can do. But actually, they start with a good bowel movement. Easy bowel movement is a good sign that your health is in good way. So this laziness, absence of laziness, is one indicator. Why you don't have it is um, ancient philosophy talks about spirit and nature. The spirit is the one that ignites, animates our body mind complex, which is the manifestation, which is the nature, right? That nature is combination of three types of bioenergies. One is called tamas, that is the laziness, inactivity, or dormant, or like a solid. And then rajas, which is activity, we kind of being active continuously, and that is like a liquid, like a roaring river, right? And then the third one is sattvic, which is like a harmonized energy, which is like a steam. Both energies are really manifested into something that we want. So what we want is to be in that final energy. You can be lazy before you go to bed, unwind and all that, but when you are working, you want to be in that second energy, but also not too much. That is the problem with us nowadays, modern people. We work either by whipped by somebody or by our own self. We kind of become hungry for something, either a degree or money or whatever, right? And then we whip ourselves to frenzy of activity. Too much doing is the problem with the modern society. That's what I always talk about. Do, but then pay attention to your being too. Then the combination will be good, and you can do a lot more things when you are not hurried, when you are not really pulled by somebody intention and all that. Actually, what they talk about passion is kind of looked down upon by the ancient wisdom. They teach you to be in the highest flow state without really expending all your hormones, all your passions, and all that. That's something that you can aim for. So what you want to do is you want to. There's a Eisenhower matrix I talked about the other day. This is like putting all your things in four baskets, right? First one is like what is immediate and urgent that I need to do. And then next thing is important, not immediate, important and urgent. Second thing is important but not urgent. And third thing is not important, urgent. Fourth thing is not important, not urgent, like that. If you have identified what is my purpose in life, what I want to do, and then you kind of say, okay, my career, my family, my health, something like that, okay? And then they are important for you, but do them non-urgently. That means you focus on them rather than focusing on all the gossip, all the unnecessary talks, and all that thing. So that Eisenhower matrix is very important. I talked about in my latest video also. You can take a look at that. So really being active, but really harmonizing that activity and the energy so that you are like steam. You are not solid, where it is the tamas energy is hidden, or you are not flowing river, which is the rajas, but you are kind of steam that is like a taken hold of both energies, and then you are using the energy to achieve your task. And also you can classify your task like what is important but not urgent, but they have to be done on a daily basis. Be in that all the time. That would be wonderful for you. Make sense, Jacob?
Yeah, just wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, Dr. Rao. I really appreciate that. Do you recommend journals then, Dr. Rao?
Journaling, also outpouring what you go, that's fine to begin with, but then you have to reflect on that. Okay, is this coinciding with what I thought about? Everybody has to brainstorm, right? Or they have some things they have to do just to make a living, or some pleasures, or taking care of the family. Those kind of things will be there. But then people also want to do something more in society, something more in the world, right? Then you have to identify them, and then they make them as important, and you will be doing them on a constant, non-urgent basis. That means you are not forgetting them, but journaling helps, Sanya, because you are forcing yourself to reflect on things and write them down. When you write them down, they become much more consolidated. So that, some people who are really, thinking all over, they are very much benefited by putting them down on the paper, right? And then that journaling itself, not just to document it, but after documentation, what did I do with it? Sometimes you can come back and read it and say, oh, yeah, I have thought about that. I forgot I'm not doing this these days. Then it becomes. You remember I talked about review of reactions at the end of the day, before you go to bed.
Yes.
That's kind of journaling too. So you could use a journal if it's difficult to do it in the mind. In the beginning, I would encourage journaling. But then just journaling and catharsis, like, you just eliminate everything from your mind, and then you don't know about it later. That doesn't work for you. If you journal, reflect on it, and then make some solutions, and then adopt them. Actually, the method I do is moment to moment, so that becomes much easier too. So like, I have the four things I told you, right? One is, how can I work for wellness of the individual? That's one thing. That's what I'm doing. I established my company BAPAL. My services are oriented towards fusion of modern medicine and ancient wisdom to prevent and maintain people's health, right? So that they don't hi, Chris. Chris is here. He talks about lifestyles, which I agree so totally, which is what I was always talking about. The second thing is, apart from the wellness of human being, that is where the burnout everything comes. The second thing is, where I want to work wellness systems, health systems themselves. They become wellness oriented. That means they are actively promoting, helping, and making sure that people are really following. That means they have to invest a lot into the epidemiology aspect, preventive aspect, and then educational aspect too. So as a physician, I do that. I want other people also to come and do that too, that kind of thing. Then The third thing is, I am very worried about how our global activity and global heat and all that. I have been about this since the 1980s. I have seen scientists warning, philosophers warning, all the time. But then we are so unaware of what is going on with the earth. The human activity has caused us so much problem. Now we are facing the consequences. They're doing a lot of things. The fourth thing I wanted is, how can we have the self-realization, which is the ultimate for anybody's human life. That kind. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm here listening. Love to share is about wellness. Real estate and wellness is where my passion is.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I have one more license going to get in the real estate arena, and then I'm going to do some practicing
Yeah,
of natural healing and stuff. I do a lot of reading now, but I don't have any degrees or anything. But I think getting people aware of everything.
yeah,
Most people think because they do one thing that
yeah,
they might go to the gym 3 times a week and they think they're doing their wellness job
yeah. That's the thing.
by
Yeah,
going to the gym 3 days a week. But what good is that if you come on the way home, you stop at McDonald's, Big Mac and a fry?
Yeah,
And then when you get home, you're taking a bath in toxic water.
yeah,
And then you get out of the shower and brush your teeth with the toxic toothpaste.
yeah,
So it's just being aware. I call self-aware of everything. I know you can't do everybody can't do everything, even the food they eat. You can be aware of you eating an orange or apple or eating whole food, plant-based food, eating real food.
yeah. You know
And
what,
even
Chris?
that,
You
it
see,
is it is so much to be well. It's not one thing, but I just
yeah,
love your room and what you share to really
yeah,
help people. And I think in the 21st century here, people who really have a burning desire to really change the world
yeah,
can have a major impact in the next 5 to 10 years.
yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, you brought up a good point when you talked about the paste. From head to toe, there are ancient ways because they didn't have these chemicals and they didn't have the, ignorance of the natural remedies. For example, they brush your teeth with a neem stick. The edge of the neem stick is made into a brush, and the neem stick has a lot of anti-inflammatory, lot of good things for the teeth and the gums too. I remember when we were very very young, but the moment we started to go to school, we all got toothbrushes and all that. But we used to munch the edge of that stick, and then we brushed it, and that worked wonderful for the teeth. And those people who brush it like that, they had their normal teeth way into the 80s and 90s. That was their inspiration. Like that, for example, if you eat something, right, and then if you go and then actually yoga recommended 17 times rinsing after eating, so that all the particles, otherwise we kind of do the lot more now, but then that was the practice. So every time you eat, if you really rinse and let all the particles come out, you will hardly have gingivitis. And also there is what's called tongue cleaners. They really, Ayurveda, for example, maybe Zeller knows about this. Ayurveda talks about this coated tongue, and according to how the tongue is coated, is the central or peripheral or the back and front, they used to diagnose organ disease. And that is so accurate. I have read about that. What we learned as physicians, liver disease, kidney disease, and all that, they can be indicated. So all we are taught about brushing the teeth and then scraping the tongue. Even to this day I practice that. That's why there is so little gingivitis in that community that I came from. And also they have no bad smell, and also very little dental work is needed. They may do some, like I don't have cavities. I'm 69, right? So far in my life, I never experienced a cavity. And also my, hi Iman, how are you? Okay. So it's kind of becomes a real, let us invite her. She's very good too. Welcome, Iman. So that's way there are. I can tell you, you take from head to toe. You can do those practices assimilated into our regular and whatever we do the dental care. That's very good. So Sanya, I don't have a cavity so far. 69, right? I never suffered that. I don't even have gingivitis and all that too. Very strong teeth. I can eat anything with my teeth. I saw my grandpa who was into 104 years, he died. In 90 years also, he used to come and he used to eat very well with his own teeth. They didn't have dentures or anything at the time, but they lived with all these natural methods. And now they are making a toothpaste made in India of these turmeric and neem and some other things. They combine them, and that is a very easy way to use that. I use that taste toothpaste now. It comes in Indian stores. It is there. It's a very healthy one. I don't use the Colgate and all these things at all now. Not that they are bad, but this is much more superior. It kind of uh, strengthens your teeth gums, and also it doesn't form the cavities that easily. So when Chris mentioned about Chris, I remember we can actually Raquel Welch, the actress. She used to be big deal when we were growing up. And but she was a yoga practitioner, and she made videos, and she wrote a book on beauty, total beauty. I think that was the title. Way back in 80s, I saw the book. She talks about from head to toe for beauty. So for the hair also, there is a way you move the Sanya, you move the hair like that. And there is the occipitofrontalis muscle, underneath the hair, right? And that is the one which is nurtured by doing these exercises. So just I'm bringing out, there's so many things that you can do that will actually save you medical expenses. And also you got to understand them, though you don't have to follow them just like that, but you understand and then assimilate them into regular or whatever modern things we have here, you know.
Yeah, I switched my toothpaste as well. I actually bought it from the Isha Life as well. You
Mm.
know, Dr. Rao. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
great. Yeah, I mean, it's like floral, right? So it's kind of,
yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to know the fluorine and all that. That's good, but then individually, you can go to nature and adopt some of those things. And my style is fusion. Both I use a rotary brush that is very good, right? That is something electric brush we have. I use that, but also I use this toothpaste from that Himalayan institute. I don't know what they call that name. I forgot about it, but it is turmeric or something. It's a very, very good one. Okay. Zeller, you want to add anything there? I'm sure you have something to add.
Very happy to see that Chris arrived. That's beautiful. I was thinking that this would be a good.
Yeah, Chris comes here quite often. Any other questions that we could take on and discuss about? Anyway, we were talking about this topic, enhance the human being. I kind of laid out like, see, when you think you are the body, that is like an innate thing, right? And you are these thoughts that are coming and going. That is the mind. If you think, that is changing all the time. But yeah, but there, if you read, yeah,
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
I
I
was
just
talking and I was
slowly
muted
follow.
myself. Yeah. So yeah, I was talking about what is this enhancement of human being is being. Focus on that. That's what I'm talking about. You see, we don't have the awareness or the being or the consciousness within which animates our body and our mind. Then we don't have anything, then we are dead, right? Like that, right? But if you establish yourself only in the body, then you are not going anywhere. But if you establish only on the mind, you are not going anywhere. But what it is realize body and mind as our tools, instruments, and then focus on them. That's much easier to maintain them. But the real thing is our inner silent self, eternal, and the being. That is where a lot of scientists of consciousness are working now, and they're coming very close. They call it about panpsychism. They talk about one energy. They talk about all are in one. All those things they're talking about now. But for me, it's the experiential reality. Nobody need to tell me or show me. I kind of go into it myself and establish myself in there. That's where I am very aware of what is going on with the body. Like for example, somebody has asked me about belly fat. Sanya, you may be interested in this too, because I'm going to do a challenge on that for those people who are having the belly fat and not able to really relieve their back pain or so many problems with the belly fat. Right? It's indicative of coronary fat and all that too. But there are ways that you could do the way you stand, the way you really tone the abdominal muscles, and also the way you eat and exercise and diet. All those things will be in that workshop or challenge, what they call 3 days, I think. When then you can come and experiment with those things. You won't have the same reduction in the same 3 days, but you learn the techniques that you
So
could.
I've been working on that. Last time we did the chat.
Yeah, yeah. But then this is going to be much more detailed because this time I created a lot more for people to take home and then try it themselves. At least sometimes if they do daily, ideally you got to do 3 times a day. But then if they cannot do at least once or twice, they can do. And also understand how they're allowing this belly fat to go, and then main thing is you have belly fat sagging and all that that can drag on your back, all those things people know, but it also interferes with your energy because in yoga this nabhi means umbilicus, right? That is the center of the energy. So if you have really flat abdomen, your energy will be very much high. So I have a flat abdomen because I have been doing this yoga thing for a long time. So I don't have to do anything special. But automatically, when I'm standing now, as I'm talking to you guys, when I stand properly in both legs, and that really helps you to tuck the abdomen inside. You don't have to do deliberately, but it is already there, right? The muscles are tight; they will be like that, and that helps the back, that helps the shoulders, the posture, everything helps a lot. And then energy level, that is the one people miss about it. So I'm planning to do these challenges. They asked me, Sonia, upon request. So one somebody asked me about facial yoga, and somebody asked me about this challenge. Another one, people are going to the gym and they are doing the gym exercises and they are feeling burnt out, spent physically, right? And they are really exhausted and then they are having pains and all these things. Then I told him, I will show you a workout that is energy boosting. You remember we were talking about all the time E, I, O, U, E being the energy in the practice. Uh, I talked to Sanya before.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about when you design and customize the yoga for me.
Yeah, I mean the person who asked me, she is going to meet me tomorrow, and then we're going to come up with an agenda, and they're going to market it, I believe. But it's going to be a free thing, like everybody can do that. Just to our aim is to just to make them aware of what is available, and then they can work with it. So yeah, you will see the address, but I also send you an invitation, Sanya. Then you can come and you can participate there too. I think it will be easy for you because you already know a lot of those stuff. So it will be easy. But then this will be a routine that you will coordinate if you have a sagging abdomen, if you have a lot of fat in there and all that. It won't happen right away, but at least you'll understand what is that you are not doing or doing that is encouraging this belly fat deposition. And also you will understand what is visceral fat, what is subcutaneous fat. There's a medical angle will be there, and how it is an indicator of somebody having coronary fat and all that. I'll bring those medical things, but also this ancient people, why they did have the sagging abdomen, why they were always able to sit down erect and all that. We'll talk about all that. It will be leisure Zoom session. It will be about 3 days, means maybe 2 to 4 hours a day. We will do them, and then we'll cover all aspects of that. You know.
That's awesome, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
I have been focusing on nutrition as well too,
Yeah.
because it's everything, right? In
Yeah.
terms of how it's
That,
connected.
yeah, nutrition is very, very important. We'll focus on that. I think that's the main problem with a lot of people. See, there's one thing people don't realize is, suppose you go to McDonald's something somewhere and you eat very, very fast. That means you eat within 2 minutes the whole lot of four hamburgers, like that. Then what happens is the stomach actually expands, right? And that expansion of stomach, the stretch, it has to reach certain point where it will initiate a feeling of satiety for you, right? So if you sit down and you eat only one sandwich for 20 minutes slowly, and then the stretch will happen at the end of it, but that is good enough with the fluid, because as you chew slowly, you're going to really generate a lot of saliva, and then that also fills one third of your stomach. So once the stomach reaches the stretch, usually it takes 20 minutes for you to have that feeling of satiety, whether you eat little food or a lot of food, that's the same thing. So you be wise and then slow down and chew and savor your food, enjoy your food, but select the contents wisely, that kind of thing. Then you'll have a good meal experience that you are enjoying, but at the same time, you are not getting too many calories or too many bad foods into your system. So we'll talk about all sorts of things that. See, I had to clear people for bariatric surgery, right? As an internal medicine doctor, then when they come, most of the time it is a problem of them eating psychologically and also not really being active. And some of the genes and some of the brown fat is there. But then these people have so much overweight, they are not able to walk, they are having heart problems and all that. So after evaluation, once we always try to tell them just do it this conservative way. If this doesn't work, then we'll send you for the surgery, right? Most of the people don't have the patience; they want to go to surgery. Then what we have to do as a referral of the from internal medicine to the bariatric surgeon, the surgeon asks us to do this pre-surgery analysis for 6 months. Every month they have to come. We have to do all these things they are doing or not. They prepare them for post-surgery in a way, so that they won't put back the weight again. So all the habits are discussed, and then all the weights are maintained, and everything is done for 6 months. Then when I clear them, they go for the surgery. And all the health habits that they learned during that will help them to reduce some weight. But then they're so much overweight, they want to have the surgery done or lap or something like that. Once they have the surgery done, when they come back, it's much easier for them to follow that, follow the program and then keep the weight away. So there are a lot of benefits. This is what I'm talking about. If hospitals focus on wellness and make sure that people know what to eat, what not to eat, and also take action on the restaurant industry, take out the markets that are producing all these bad foods, and all there's a big problem, right? We may say so many things, but then they walk out of the clinic, they have Burger King one side, McDonald's other side, they go to one of them and eat all the junk. So this has to be a collective effort. It has to be all industries understand wellness is important, promoting them. But I start with the individual, then the family, then the community, then the hospitals and the districts, and then the states and the countries and the world, like that. But then it has to start with the individual consciousness. Sometimes they don't know. That's why I come on there, and then I like people like Chris who are talking about the wellness and lifestyles, which I have been talking about since 1980s. But more people are realizing, more people are coming and voicing. That's wonderful. That way, it's a good thing. We can encourage wellness for everybody.
Yes, I love your shares about being, even our household products, our hair products, our shampoos, our washing powder. It's just getting people aware. I think when you start with one thing, I got a Korean guy. He's coming back in town tomorrow. But I just started him. He was in the military 21 years. He knew nothing, studied nothing about wellness. And I just got him. He got a bar of soap. Then he got some natural washing powder. And now he wants to turn the whole house over. He wants the water system for his new home. But most people just have to start with one little product. It might be an organic apple.
Yeah.
And once they get aware, they say, "Let me try another product."
Yeah.
And then let me try another product. And the next thing you got them, their whole life is turned over with their foods, their everything. But everybody, you can't push it on them because they're not ready for everything. Kind of like a baby.
Yeah.
A newborn baby is not ready for a 16-ounce steak.
Exactly.
So you give them some applesauce.
Exactly, Chris.
Way to go. Feeding them, and then next thing you know, they can eat a 16-ounce steak down the road.
Yeah.
It's got to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true because people maybe not ready to make so many changes at a time. They have to take baby steps, and then they have to. Otherwise, it will bounce back. That's why it takes a lot of time. Even for my patients, that was the thing that I had with my patients was I could spend with them a lot of time by myself because I owned my own clinic, right? So I didn't have to listen to the insurance companies. I can spend as much time as I want. Usually, first time when they come in, I spend a lot of time with them, 1.5 hours, something like that. And there I kind of take a view of not only histories, which traditionally we do, but also their personal lifestyles. I review them, I kind of talk to them, and they get to know what I am about. I'm about working on the roots of the illness, not just the process of illness that we take care of anyway, but the roots of illness. That was really the focus from the beginning for me. So we focus on that. Then they say, "Hey, doc, we are giving me so much homework." First time they complain like that, but then they stick to at least some part of it. And when they come next time, they see the blood test, something's improvement, or their energy improvement, or their general chemistry improvement. All that they look at it, they say, "Oh yeah, this is working. Let's do it." Then I tell them about how can I keep you out of the emergency room and also hospitalization. That was the next goal. And then they were happy to do the homework. They could keep the numbers, know the numbers, what they mean, how they get worse, how they're like, you have to take some time to explain them. But many of my patients, give credit to them, they were very aware, active, and also slowly participate in a little or a lot. Most of them medium, like, even with that, they didn't have to take so much medication. That's the next thing we did. We cut down the medications a little bit at a time. And I really was very proud of myself because I cut down medications for so many people safely. You cannot cut down all of a sudden. You got to withdraw them slowly, and you also see some things they are used to it. You cannot take it. For example, I don't take any sleeping pills ever. Okay, so but I advise that to my patients, but they're already on the sleeping pill for so many decades. You cannot take it from them because they will be dependent on tolerant already, and for their own sleep, you have to give it. That kind of things that we have to do judiciously. But overall, we made a living by cutting down the medications on people. You know, so people are kind of conditioned to think all medications will help them, but then the medications have interactions, side effects, and also so much expense and all that. People, for example, diabetics, I was training them to work on the insulin resistance, and also how can they do at least some of the insulin production by some exercises and all that, right? And also how can they change the content of diet and all that. So my diabetes education was comprehensive, not just only wide, but also pretty deep. Once they do that, once they realize they can really produce a little bit of insulin with the yoga practices that we do, then they really, hi Nazli, welcome. So it's a kind of educating them and then showing them the results they can feel themselves. But it takes time. It takes time, and then also we have a system where if they have some blood sugar problem, something, they used to fax them to us, or nowadays with a portal they can really see the results and know what they are doing, right? So that kind of available all the time in a small way was more, rather than waiting for the 3 months result. I know what is happening in the 3 months for them by them feeding me back. So it's a kind of working with them with the wellness as a aspect that takes a lot of time on our part. But then if the hospitals realize that and put a wellness center in the hospital, I call this oasis. That's what I want to recommend to hospitals, to come up with the oasis in the hospital where you will get a lot of this wellness information that they can take home to. I have already prepared a lot of brochures and all that for that. I will eventually execute them, in the hospital systems. Hi Nazli, you have any questions? We're talking about enhancing the human being today. Nazli comes with good questions every day. So So how is your diet, Sanya, now? What are the changes you are making?
I'm staying away from the things that we discussed, like bread and rice and that kind of thing, right? And
Yeah,
stay with the raw, wheat stuff,
yeah,
like vegetables and stuff like that, right?
yeah,
So a little more of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Especially for summer, right? You don't need that. I didn't feel like you need that heavy of a food, right?
yeah, yeah. That's the important thing. You see, if you can eat light, actually you feel better. And also, if you eat slow and if you sit up upright after you eat a lunch, that's good for you. Don't go and sleep right after the lunch, And then if you eat only when you are hungry, that's very good too. And also, if you really fast from maybe 10 o'clock to morning 6, that's good enough. You don't have to do extra fasting and all that. You may need it according to the weight and all that, but generally, if you follow this routine, like I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, and I'm going to pay attention to what I'm eating, and also I'm going to eat slow, and I'm going to walk a little bit after eating, and also at 2 hours before I'll eat, then I will go to sleep, and all that puts you in that circadian rhythm, which is the natural cycle of the alimentary canal, and which is very good. Then it will uh, function properly. It will be hungry when it is needed. It will excrete waste products when it is needed, and also the whole cycle goes up in a certain way. We sacrifice that circadian rhythm because thinking our work is so important that we cannot pay attention to this. You can, if you really understand and put it there, like when you get up in the morning, you kind of do certain things like that. If you allow the system to work on its own nature, that is the circadian rhythm, then you will be much easier to maintain the health. So diet is something very basic. It has a lot of understanding we need. You need to understand your rhythms first. You need to understand what is allowing the food to be absorbed better, assimilated better. If you eat when you are really ravenous appetite, that means you don't eat according to the time, like 8 o'clock, 12, and 6 o'clock. You let your hunger build up and work up your appetite, and then of course if you are a diabetic or some other conditions where you need to eat something so that you won't be hypoglycemic, that's different. But natural normal people, if they can cultivate their physiological cycles work well for them, they are better off. See, there's a statement I always use, right? Are you eating to live and achieve something, or you are living to eat? That means a meal is the only pleasure you have. That's kind of going to the basic chakras of yours, so if you are eating to live and do something well, then eating becomes one of the things that you want to take care of, but at the same time you can allow it to be pleasurable and all that. But if you make it food as a psychological need, that's when you get into trouble. Acquiring tastes and favorite foods and making it social. We have allowed that in our civilization over the generations, right? But you don't have to reverse all of that, but at least be faithful to your diurnal rhythms. Nazli, you want to come up and ask anything? I'll invite you just in case you want to come up. She's the only one in there, so. Okay. All right. I think we're almost at the top of the hour. Sanya, anything else you want to ask me? Anybody else? Zeller, Chris, anybody? Danny?
No, I'm good. Good to see you, Durrani.
I would like to know, are you doing a training program? Is there something that you offer in regards
Oh,
to your
yeah.
services?
Yeah, I have a wellness club, which Sonia is also a member of. That is done in the morning and sometimes in the evening, but mostly monthly membership, and also train the yoga practice for individuals and groups, and also consultations. A lot of people consult me on the DMs, and they come on the Zoom if they want, and then. I also do most of the consultation online on the Zoom. That is the main activity that goes on. And I have some books and articles and videos that I made. But basically, wellness and consultations and coaching of the yoga programs, that takes a lot of my time.
What is the base? Where are you based?
You were cutting off, Jalar. I couldn't hear you.
I was saying, where is your base?
Oh, I am in United States, Iowa, but I'm
Okay.
online. Wellness Club is also online on Zoom. So once I have a website, bapal.net slash register. If anybody goes there, there is the enrollment for the Wellness Club. And then if they enroll, then I will. A lot of people enroll, but they don't keep it up for a lot of time, because of the work or whatever. But
Is that the address in your profile that you just mentioned? Because I didn't get it.
yeah, it's in my profile. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a BAPAL. BAPAL is my company. .net slash register. That's what it's there, Jalal, in my
Yes,
profile.
I will find it there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, I think we did good today for almost an hour. At least few people are there, so that's good. Nice seeing you, Sanya, again, and Nazli, Chris, and all these regulars, and Zeller. Nice meeting you. And I would
Yes,
like to
thank
see,
you.
I would like to see more on the therapeutic touch massage that you do. Maybe next time when you come, we'll talk more about it.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.